Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to share this with you because I think this is a major thing um, when it comes to really like changing your life and helping your life. And this is something that's simple. And I'm a big believer in simple happiness. And I'm a big believer in the simple things in life are the most beautiful things, the things that we often overlook, the things that we often don't appreciate, that really is the drivers in our life, right? To bring us peace, to bring us fulfillment, to bring us happiness. And good morning, good morning. I'm actually in one of my places of peace that I love. I'm disconnecting. Got my new beginning shirt on because every day is a new beginning. And I want to share this with you. So if it's on your heart, share this with somebody. I know for a fact, if you really get this and understand this, it will be a life-changing moment for you. And like, I want to tell y'all, man, and y'all know, like, get to places like where you can hear your soul. I want to tell you this, and this might not seem like a powerful message, but it's so powerful. Get to places where you can listen to your soul. Get to places where you can disconnect and talk to God. Understand what you're going through. Places of peace, places of clarity. And so that's one of the things that I do, but I want to share this with you. So many of us don't trust ourselves. And what I mean by it is that so many of us, we spend so much time questioning what's right for our life. We spend so much time questioning what our soul is telling us is right. And it's something I call internal alignment, okay? We live in a generation, a world where we are so addicted to external alignment. We're so addicted to things aligning outside of us to determine what's right for us. So we tell ourselves, okay, these things have to add up externally in order for this to be right for our life. And literally, most of us, we plan so much that we plan what's right for our life right out of our life. Let me explain. Some of us have had things that we know are right for us. Some of us have things that we know are in our soul, like this is it. That feeling that you get, that intuition that you get, that discernment that you get, that literally you're saying, I know this is right for me. But what a lot of us do is we talk ourselves right out of it, because the first thing that we do is we ignore our soul and we pay attention to the world. We ignore what our soul is telling us and we go try to find validation in the world to bring credibility or discredit what our soul is telling us. Your soul is connected to God. So the world isn't going to know necessarily what your soul knows. A perfect example of this, and I won't tell my story too much because y'all know my story, but nothing externally said that this was what I was supposed to do. Nothing. And I know it seems unbelievable now because I've been doing this for so long, but when I started, the only thing that said this was for my life is what my soul was telling me. It's what my intuition, is what my discernment was telling me in my soul that says, man, you were created for this. Then anything outside of it, right? It wasn't no finances. It wasn't no following. It wasn't no titles. It wasn't no positioning. Nobody even knew who I was. And so if I trusted the external, I would have walked away from what was meant for my life. I would have walked away what God was giving me. I would have walked away from this purpose because nothing outside of me said this was for me. And a lot of us, what we do is we do exactly that. We sit here and we chase external alignment and we discredit and ignore the internal alignment in our soul. A lot of us, what we do is we fall for presentations. We fall for perfection. We fall for people giving us potential, right? We say, oh, this person, this job, this guy, this woman has done all the right things externally. In our soul, we know that this ain't it. It's something about this that don't seem right, but we ignore that because they give us perfection, they give us potential, they give us promises, and that's external alignment. So externally, everything seems right. It's like, oh, this must be meant for my life. This must be Mrs. Charming, Mr. Charming. Oh, this must be the right job because it's literally checking off all the boxes externally. It's checking off all the boxes. How many of you have checked off all the boxes externally and it wasn't right for your life? How many of you have checked off all the boxes externally that the world says that makes things right for your life that wasn't right for your life? How many have worked a job that all the boxes checked? The pay was right, you know what I mean? The title was right, and you checked off all the boxes, and over time you realized that that job was the worst thing for your life. Let me know in the chat, because I know that it's true, because we have all been there. And so I want to just literally give you guys this brief message because it can change your life. Some of you need to learn how to trust yourself more. When your soul is telling you this ain't it, trust yourself. Now, again, we could be wrong at times, right? None of us are perfect. But when your soul is telling you this is it, trust yourself. My soul was telling me this is it. You are meant to be this voice to this generation. I could have found all the reasons externally why I wasn't meant to be this. And I did at times. I was like, man, who am I? I'm just like, nobody cares. Like, who am I to be qualified for this? And I realized if I depended on my qualifications, I would have never reached my elevation in life. If I depended on the world's qualifications of me externally, I never would have walked into the gift and shared my gift that God has given me. I depend on God's qualifications that he gave my soul. He says, I've called you. I've called you. This is it for you. And I trusted over time, even when there was no freaking evidence that this was right for me, I trusted that it was because it was a feeling inside of my soul that I couldn't ignore. And to this day, I make a lot of my decisions based upon that. Now, sometimes I'm wrong, but most times I'm right. And so I want to give that to you. I know it's not some sexy thing to talk about. I know it's not some, oh my gosh, Trent, that's so groundbreaking. But literally, it is one of the keys to your life, internal alignment. And you got to protect it. You have to trust it. You have to be able to know when your soul is speaking to you. That's why it's important to disconnect, to disappear at times, to get to places where you can hear your soul. Because some of us, we live such a busy, noisy life that we can't even hear our soul. All we hear is the opinions of others. All we hear is what this world telling us who we are, what we should be. Because we're so connected to external conversations that we disconnect from the internal dialogue in our soul. And that is a big part of fulfillment, is connecting to the internal dialogue in your soul and disconnecting from the external conversations around your life. Guys, that's all I want to say. Like, please listen, repeat it, understand it. Okay? And again, sometimes our intuitions can be wrong. Like, I've had times where but I would rather trust what my soul is telling me than what this world is telling me. And don't plan your life so much that you plan God right up out of it. I'll leave with this scenario with that. So I like to bring tangible things to make you realize, like, oh, that's true. How many of you, ask yourself this, how many times in your life have you experienced something that's been amazing for your life? When you look back, you say, man, I could have never planned that. Maybe it's your relationship, your marriage. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's, whatever it is in your life. How many of you have experienced, like, think about this for a moment, because this is when this brings the confidence and trust in yourself and trust in what God has for you. There's countless times in my life, probably 95% of the things that have happened beautiful in my life wasn't planned. And I couldn't explain it. I couldn't have went back and planned it. I only could connect the dots moving forward. There was no way I could have connected these dots. I only could connect the dots moving backwards. There was no way I could connect these dots moving forward. There's no way I could have created this way. I just trust the way maker. And if you look back on your life, you'll realize that the most beautiful things in life, more than likely, happened because you trusted. It wasn't because you planned. It's because you trusted, right? You put yourself in environments because you listen to your soul. You put yourself in proximity of things because you listen to your soul. You can't explain it. So that's why I tell you, internal alignment is very important. And I think it's one of the best ways to experience fulfillment in your life. And when you get to a place where you trust yourself, it's a beautiful place to be, y'all. So I love you. I appreciate you. I just wanted to tap in with y'all real quick and share this with you. You guys are a part of the challenge. You guys are getting a lot. Make sure you text MBG to my number, 817-242-2719. Depending on when you see this, the challenge might be over, but it's not over right now. So make sure you tap in with it. But I was actually working on my book, Protect Your Peace, and this is going to be in it, even a deeper version of it. But I said, man, let me go live and share this while it's on my heart too. Let me trust my internal alignment that's telling me to go live. And so, yeah, man, I'm glad that y'all got something from today. Get the place where your peace is protected.